My name's Jules Hardy and I'm a presenter predominantly doing stuff with video games. I currently have a CBBC show called Game on Grandparents, which is pretty awesome. It's an esports show where grandchildren have to train their grandparents in video games, and then we put the grandparents on an esports stage and make them compete against each other. It's completely adorable and very spicy. My first ever presenting jobs were for a music channel, and I kind of like stumbled into that. I actually studied photography. What a waste of time. It's fine, I paid off the debt, it's all right. I was really into cinema, I was really into games, and obviously really into music. And we used to do this review show, so we'd take all the things that had come out like during that week and review them. And that was the first time I'd ever really interacted with kind of the games industry. There was actually, I think it was an open casting call for a video game TV show on Bravo that was called Game Face. I auditioned for that and then I got that job and I did that for, I think it was like a couple of years. I love presenting, I love games, I love talking about them. I love sitting in sort of between the sort of gamer culture and the mainstream. That's what always kind of appealed to me, rather than specifically just making content for gamers. I was the first ever, only ever, Radio 1 gaming presenter. That took a little while to set up, but that was really rewarding. So I do feel like gaming has been treated very differently right from the start, and I would even say still now to some degree. It was always seen as a very, very nerdy pastime. It's like dudes in basements programming and making games, and it's all really nerdy and very manly and all this sort of stuff. And I think, yeah, okay, at the start it possibly was a bit like that. Oh, you do games? There is a little bit of, there is still a little bit of that stigma. I do think that it has moved a lot further forward than it was before. I certainly know when I first started in games, it was very misogynistic and very, very sexist, and every job I had to basically, no one believed I ever played games. Of course I didn't, and you'd have to kind of justify yourself and prove yourself kind of over and over again. I do feel like that has changed now. That is certainly for the better. There's a lot more, women in games, which is great. There are still kind of elements that, still need to be sort of worked with or whatever, but I think, we are kind of moving in that right direction. When Minecraft came out, that was a really big leap forward where I think parents understood the potential of games and the positive impact they can have. I think COVID during lockdown, I think that after everyone had basically watched everything on Netflix and couldn't stomach anything else to watch anymore, and was suddenly like, oh wow, I can like play games with my friends. That's actually quite cool and that's fun and that's social. I think that was another big kind of leap. And I honestly think like The Last of Us, I think the TV show The Last of Us did huge things. It was kind of like, wow, this is like a really complex and interesting story. Sorry, this was from games? Games had these things, and it's like, yeah, we know, but slowly everyone is kind of catching up.
What are the sort of the big gaming moments for you?
I think the first game that I played and I loved was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I remember my friend Laura had it, and we used to go around there and you'd have to like pause it and go and make a sandwich and come back, and like the Mega Drive would be like really hot. That was kind of a really impactful moment. I loved that game so much. Day of the Tentacle, that was this LucasArts point and click thing, and we thought this was the funniest game ever, and to this day I have so many fond memories of stabbing a like wobbly clown with a voice like when you like talk about a game and everyone's like, you sound like you're completely insane, but everyone who's played the game will know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, the Witcher series I'm a massive fan of. I spent so many, I don't think I've never wanted a game to end. I would just keep playing it and keep playing it. I was having a really tough time at one point in my life when the first kind of God of War game came out, and I was going through such a really troubling personal time that I couldn't really sit still. I couldn't watch TV. I was so like tormented by it. I'm not going to get into it, but it was a lot of personal stuff kind of going on. And the only thing that gave me any peace was to play God of War, because it stopped me from thinking, and it stopped me from worrying and catastrophizing about the situation that was happening with my family. There is literally a game and an experience for anything that you're feeling, or any moment, or any need that you need filled. Gaming can provide that, and that's what I find just so magical about it. I think that diversity and sort of more inclusive worlds within games has it's definitely got an awful lot better. I think that games makers are realizing that it's really important to have that kind of representation, and are doing it in the right way. And even through to, the people who work behind the scenes. I mean, if you look at sort of like who are a lot of the Xbox executives right now, I just feel like there are so many different games. We are so lucky to have so many different passionate game developers out there making all these different kinds of experiences that having one doesn't really mean you lose something else. There are literally games for every possible appetite and desire out there. So I really feel like, I don't think, all it is doing is adding more great experiences and stories. Surely that's why you want to be a gamer, right? It's to see it all, to experience it all. And that's what makes gaming great, because you get to be those people, to see those things, not just watch it happen, but be them. Now, I think a lot about who I would be if I was a video game character, because there's a lot of things that you need to take involved, like you have to factor in the game world. Am I going to die in a minute? In which case, I don't want to be Celine in Returnal. I love Jane Perry, she's amazing. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there because I'm going to die in a minute. She's super cool. Also, the trauma, no, right. So first of all, Celine, no. Then you've got to think about what's their life like? I mean, if you, let's be honest, if you had to pick, it's probably going to be Lara Croft, because super wealthy, really well read, and gets to travel the world and doesn't die that much, compared to most other games. That's kind of cool. I mean, I love Nathan Drake as well. I mean, I can't really say Joel from The Last of Us. It's all a little bit problematic, but and it's not a very nice world to be in The Last of Us either. Even though it's one of my favourite games, I don't know if I'd really actually want to experience that. But I'd probably go for an adventurer, someone who gets to travel the world, go to lots of different countries, meet loads of different people, see unbelievably cool things and be a little bit acrobatic. I mean, I'd take a Nathan Drake, but let's be honest, it'd be cool to have a manor that I live in with a butler. Is that so wrong to say that? So, I'll take a Lara Croft.
Amazing. Thank you so much.